P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S. It's Pure Boys. Hold up, it's Pure Boys.
Yeah, I got two throats.
The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S. It's Pure Boys. Hold up, it's Pure Boys.
Say what?
Yoway! What's up, Fudge Packers? Ciao, Fudge Packers. Welcome to Pure Boys Podcast. I'm Adam, and Urine.
And I am Steve. And I just love when you say ciao, Fudge Packers, because it brings out the pepperoni salami in all of us, and it really gets this show off to a great start.
And it all starts out of the gate, and that's the real test of a good piece of content. Does it get started out of the gate? In our case, yes, of course it does.
In our case, out of the gate.
Out of my nuts. This is all stuff we were talking about before we started recording, but bring it to the show. Yeah. Why not? Keep the energy alive, you know? This week,
yeah.
We're talking, when the theme song first started, I was sure that they were going to spell out the name of the movie we were watching, because this week we're watching the Pendragon, Sword of His Father, 2008.
I really thought this movie was called The Pendragon Chronicles, because I think that's like a groovy, name for a movie, but it's not. It's just Pendragon.
Well,
the last continues or something.
Yeah, the Pendragon all out of continues. I'm almost sure though that the Pendragon Chronicles is a thing. Like that's a book series or something like that. So you're probably not far off in thinking that it was real.
It just seems like the word that should follow Pendragon is Chronicles.
I mean, we've said Pendragon so much already, and I couldn't tell you what that is. I don't, even after watching this movie, I don't know what Pendragon means. I know who Pendulette is, and that's as close as I got.
I almost looked it up, because all I can think of is a pen and a dragon, and those don't combine.
Right? Yeah, more like Pen 15 Dragon, you know?
I guess, maybe a Pendragon is somebody with, really good writing skills, but also is a fierce warrior.
Right, yeah, like business in the street, freak in the sheets type of thing. That's a medieval Pendragon.
Which is what you want on the Isle of Britannia in 411 AD.
I mean, I prefer 311 because amber's the color of my energy, but 411's fine too, I guess.
Do you think that's where 311 got their name, is that they saw the Pendragon and were like, let's take it down one and years, call ourselves 311?
Probably not. Yeah, probably. I think they went into the future and they were like, hey, Pendragon, Sword of His Father, we love this thing. A Burns Family Studios production? We should adopt all of the elements of our life. I mean, isn't 311 kind of a Christian band? Don't they have religious stuff in their music too?
They definitely have a lot of sunlight in their videos, and I think that's pretty godly.
Yeah.
But they wanted to twist it a little bit. They said 411, that's information, so let's change it up a little bit.
Right. 311, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's the name of our band, is what they ended up settling on.
That's nothing. That's the name of our band.
Good news, everyone. 311 is nothing. So no one's calling 311. Well, I mean, hopefully.
Not yet.
Well, hopefully they're calling them again. I hope that they get work. You know, making...
Well, now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they made 311 a thing, people are probably calling 311 on their phones all the time.
Oh, and their phones are going look, this isn't how you connect with the band 311. You have to go through their management, and it's such a pain in the arse to get to them. You know, it's almost not worth it to get to them. But then when you do, well, then great. You're listening to Christian stoner, reggae, whatever the hell they make.
That's probably how artificial intelligence and true AI got started.
Mm-hmm.
Was phones got sick of people typing in 311. Look, it's not a thing. Stop phoning it.
Right.
And then the war between the robots and humankind truly began.
This guy just watched The Matrix Resurrections, and he's over here spouting off about the upcoming robot war. Like he knows a thing.
I'm also watching Raised by Wolves, which is kind of based off of penultimate war between the atheists and the
I
Christians.
thought you were going to say
So
Pinocchio.
I'm feeling like Earth destruction and the end of humanity is really what I'm about right now.
Hey man, according to most of the people we follow on Twitter, the end times are here and their dinks couldn't be harder about it. So, just revel in the pure boys while you got them, because once we get raptured and our pubes get taken up to heaven, there'll be no more new episodes because there's no podcasting in heaven. Sorry.
Well, there is grace in God to live or die for him, so it doesn't really matter. And people just want destruction. They want nuclear wars. They want famine. They want to just
Pestilence.
ride the wave of destruction.
Oh yeah, we're both holding up like 2 Shaka Bra signs on our. We're just like hang loose all over the place, talking about the end of the world. We love that stuff. But hey, that's
hang loose.
You know what? Everyone out there in the world, just hang loose, all right? Just, don't worry about what's going on in the news. Just hang loose like your boys Adam and Steve.
Yeah, ride the wave, baby. Ride God's wave.
Oh yeah, ride it right into the frickin' ground.
Because once you die, you get to go to heaven and hang out with us and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. You get to find that out, so that's cool.
Yeah, and you get to, and like we already know what we're getting into. That's why we're so hang loose about it, because we've already been there, done that, So now it's just a matter of like, can everyone else like hurry up and catch up with us? Like, gosh almighty.
Do you think we have to hang out with Neanderthals and people of the Stone Age?
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, what happened to all those people that existed before the Bible existed? They just all went to hell, huh? Like, just that was it. Sorry. I've seen caveman skulls in real life. I've seen them. I've seen real ones. So they existed. So then they all just went to hell, I guess.
But maybe it's a trick of God. Maybe he put those skulls in the ground to make a big old funny like the dinosaurs.
See, that's where I gotta stop you and correct you for a second there. It's not a trick of God, it's a trick of the devil. The devil went out and he buried all those dinosaur bones and those Neanderthal bones. He had the amount of work it took the devil to lay out the foundations of this prank, which is dinosaurs and Neanderthals. It was such an undertaking. He had such a crew, backhoes. He had to get permits. It was just such a big deal in order to bury these dinosaur bones.
God made the devil, and I'm assuming he was filing those permits to God. So maybe that's what made him go mad.
Right, and that is the thing, right? The devil was kicked out of heaven because of all the bureaucracy around his giant project to bury dinosaur bones to trick people. The devil is too sexy for heaven. He's too much of an archaeologist for heaven. Oh, I guess a paleontologist, sorry. And they were just like, we don't have room for this right now. We got so much other stuff going on. We gotta make sure people aren't jaying off, so we don't have time to deal with dinosaur bones.
And under all that pressure that the devil was under, he turned to peyote, and he just kind of lost his mind and left God.
Exactly. And none of that is discussed in Pendragon, Sword of His Father, 2008.
It is kind of, though. Like, it's the words between the words.
Exactly. But before we get to any of that stuff, we're almost 10 minutes into this episode, and we haven't even done the Pure Boys prayer yet. So let's all take a moment, put our hands together, and do the prayer.
Art.
God bless our podcast. God bless all podcasts. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, amen. Good prayer.
Yeah.
One of our best.
Well, great prayer. And that's going to shoot right to God's ears because we said amen.
We pinched it off right at the end there. Yep. We didn't prairie dog our prayer like some of you do. We pinched it off. We flushed and sent it right up to God.
Do you think a priest has ever said we pinched it off after saying amen to his congregation?
Like he just looks at everyone really proud. Hey, great job, guys. We really pinched it off at the end there. Oh, this is my favorite congregation. He loves it. He loves it.
Loves it.
That priest is John Lovitz, and he loves it.
Oh, yeah.
So last week you might have remembered that we watched an absolutely atrocious movie called A Murder of Innocence, and I'd like to move past it and forget it as quickly as possible. So, Steve, I have a very important question to ask you. Whomst was the Bagger Vance of A Murder of Innocence?
Well, Adam, I almost called you Steve. It was crazy. I would have to say the Bagger Vance of A Murder of Innocence was the murderer. Now, Adam, whom did you think was the Bagger Vance of A Murder of Innocence?
Thank you so much for asking, Steve. For me, the Bagger... I almost said the murderer of Murder of Innocence. The Bagger Vance of A Murder of Innocence was, of course, the murderer. Anyway, you ready to move on to everyone's favorite segment of the week?
The murderer of Bagger Vance.
The Kevin Sorbo Tweet of the Week.
All right, let me just pull up my tab here on the internet.
He's never ready. He knows it happens. He's never ready.
I'm always ready, but I need to pull up my tabs. I use Google Chrome always for my Twitter on my laptop, just so everybody knows out there. I don't know what version. I probably need to update, but well, I'll get that to you next time. Okay, so the tweet today is currently living in the biggest I told you so moment our country has ever seen. This is coming to you from March 22nd at 1:01 p.m.
Ooh, right on time. Just ate lunch, took a dump, sent a tweet.
Yeah, he probably had like 25 minutes to watch an episode of the Flintstones, as he does every noon hour. And then he took a dump and got this tweet out, which I don't know what he's referring to as far as the I told you so. Maybe he's thinking of his dump.
I think so, yeah. I think he ate something, he found some leftovers in the fridge, and his wife was like, don't eat those, they're gonna make you dump. And he was like, I'm gonna eat them anyway. And then now he's sitting on the toilet going, we're currently living through the biggest I told you so, because I'm sitting here just dumping out those chimichangas or whatever. I'm just dumping them out.
It's pretty much the surest thing that the human being has to count on is that the food is going to turn into dump. For some reason, his wife didn't think that was going to happen. So I don't know what she was thinking or smoking, but he was right. Yeah. And I told you.
He was like, I found this we got sushi last week, and I found a couple rolls in the back of the fridge. I'm going to turn these into dumps. And she was like, I guarantee you can't. And now he gets to sit there proudly on his throne and say, I told you so. Also, I'm having intestinal distress right now.
What does she know that we don't know? Does she think he's going to die before he's able to turn the food into dumps?
Right. Yeah, she's sharpening a knife, and she says, you're not going to be able to turn that food into dumps fast enough, I'll tell you that much.
That is a bold thing to say for a killer. I think if out there, use this.
I'm almost positive I saw it in an episode of Hannibal, where he says that to someone right before he eats their face, and he serves them a delicious meal, and then he goes, oh, you're not going to have time to turn this into a dump. Is that a good Hannibal impression? I've never seen Hannibal.
You sounded like one of those 007s. I can't remember which one, but one of them.
Hopefully Timothy Dalton, the best 007.
I think I heard this from an episode of Murder, She Wrote, from one of the killers.
Well, you did text me this morning saying you were watching Columbo, so maybe Columbo said it to somebody, and they were like, that is not a veiled threat, Columbo. That's not really your job to threaten the witnesses or the criminals.
Yeah, the dead body that's on the ground right now.
Oh, it looks like they didn't have time to turn that meal into a dump.
Wouldn't that be a great line for Columbo every episode?
Yeah, that's how he starts every episode. Hey, Kev, great tweet.
Great tweet. We love you.
I was getting scared. We were coming up to the end there. Last 20 seconds of the song, I was getting nervous.
Disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. But I do agree that there should be a CSI, much like how CSI Miami always started with a great phrase and then a scream. There should be a CSI, like CSI, I don't know, Moncton or something. And then the chief of police is like, looks like they didn't have time to turn that meal into a dump.
Wow. Do you see the meal? Do you see the meal that this person has?
Yeah. They do mostly restaurant-based crimes.
Okay, so now we're getting to it. It's a restaurant-based crime show based in Moncton, and you have a very witty detective that says that line.
Yeah, it's a spin-off from CSI Moncton called CSI Moncton Restaurant, like, edition or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Food Wars, something.
Yeah, Food Wars. That's what it's called. It's just called Food Wars. And
These restaurants are fighting for every inch.
As they should. Can you imagine just how, especially after the last 2 years, now there's this glut in the market and people just need to rush in and fill it. And it's vicious out there. You can't get a business off the ground without rolling a couple heads.
There's only so many mouths out there and so many people with wallets enough to feed them.
I can think of one. His name is Bam Wallets.
What a name. I've really turned around on that name. I thought it was disgusting in my mouth when I first heard it, and now it tastes like the sweetest wine.
And that kind of sounds like the tagline for Food Wars.
I think we should come out with a wine, a pure boys wine, and it should be called Bam Wallets.
Oh, okay. I mean, sure. Why not? Yeah, a pure boys wine called Bam Wallets, not called like sacramental wine or something like that.
No. Bam Wallets, wine not.
Ah, hey, that's great. Yeah. What? It's a white wine. I almost vomited.
Yeah,
it's a white wine, obviously. It's a delicious white wine that tastes like church wine. Mm-hmm. Every bottle comes with a few Eucharist crackers on it. And so you got a little bit of crackers, you got your wine, you got your Bam Wallets reminder, and you're good to go.
How about it's a white wine that turns red in your mouth?
Oh, God. How about it's a white wine that dyes the inside of your stomach and intestines red, so all your poop and pee is red when it comes out, but we don't tell people that, so people just panic the first time they drink our wine.
Some kind of invisible beet juice.
Exactly, yeah. Like beet juice that's activated by the heat of your body or something like that. Yeah.
Heat, saliva, enzymes. There's a million things that activate in our bodies when we drink white wine.
There's a million things in our bodies, you could say.
You could say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We should. I mean, the tagline for our Bam Wallets wine should be, "You're not going to have time to turn this wine into dumps." I'll tell you that much.
You're not?
Mm-mm.
So is that a threat?
Yep.
To the person that's drinking the wine?
Uh-huh. But it's like a playful threat. And then when they go pee later and it's bright red, they're going to be like, was I poisoned by this wine? No. It's just body heat activated beet juice. Dodoy.
Yeah. Did you find that your pee turned red and your poop turned red? Turn over the label, and then that's when we explain it.
Exactly. But you can't see. You have to drink the bottle of wine first, and then you look into the bottle, and you can read the backside of the label that just says, like, don't even worry if you got red pee and poo after this. That's normal. It will be like that forever, though. It's not going to go away. That's how your body looks now. That's how your dumps and your pees look forever now.
Oh, it shouldn't go away. It definitely shouldn't go away.
Mm. I love that we have two beverages we've invented that both involve like dyeing something a certain color. Like Thickwood was bright green and it made everything that you expelled green. And now we've got Bam Wallets and that's what it was. It made your eyes green. And now we have Bam Wallets, which is a white wine that makes your poo and pee red.
The phrase "now we have Bam Wallets" and the rest of it was it's quite a weird sentence.
That's a good, yeah, it is quite a weird. Well, not if you're a fan of the Pure Boys podcast.
It's a great way to start our commercial.
Absolutely. Hey, this is only for fans of Pure Boys. People go, I don't know what that is, so I guess I'm turning this off.
Shut up.
Exactly. If you don't know who we are, shut up. How's that sound?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's how we should start our next theme song, maybe.
What? Shut up?
Yeah.
Well, no need to shut up this week because we're watching 2008's Pendragon, Sword of His Father, a title that rolls off the tongue.
Mm-hmm. I was so excited for this movie because PureFlix has done an edit.
Yes.
This movie has a plethora of different runtimes online, and that made us very curious.
The most consistent one I've found is that this movie, when it was released, is 111 minutes long, meaning it's like an hour and 51 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's like most of the runtimes I saw on IMDb, on Wikipedia, on other, just Googling it when it came up on Google, it all said an hour and 51 minutes. Cut to us looking it up on PureFlix, and the runtime of this movie, and I can confirm this because I watched the whole thing, is an hour and 21 minutes. And even with that, this movie is only an hour and 12 minutes long because there's stuff at the start and there's stuff at the end. And so what is this movie? How they trimmed 30, 40 minutes out of this movie, apparently? It's crazy.
What does it mean when it was released? Did this get any release on any platform or DVD or theater? Or was it shown at the church?
It was shown at the church. It was filmed and stars a bunch of volunteers. And it got like that kind of distribution where it's just like DVD release, shown in small places. They paid a theater to show it. No. I'm thinking of, okay, full disclosure. The people who made this movie, this was the movie that group of people made before they made Behind the Mask. Is that the one?
Yeah. Beyond the Mask.
Behind the Mask. And which is my favorite sequel to The Mask. And it so that movie came out in like 2015. Pendragon came out in 2008. And so that's why we watched this one, because there's that connection with Behind the Mask or Beyond the Mask or whatever the hell that one was called.
And Beyond the Mask was fun. It was a weird movie. It was what do you call it when it takes place during a specific time?
A period piece.
A period piece. There was definitely pieces all over the place.
Oh yeah, and so that's the one where like a guy tries to. It's during like the American Revolution, and a guy becomes like a superhero, like a Zorro type superhero, in order to stop John Rhys Davies from blowing up like Washington and killing Ben Franklin and other people.
I just remember a lot of people jumping through windows.
Yes.
Which definitely translates to this Pendragon movie, because the action scenes are muy caliente.
This movie is an hour and 12 minutes long, and probably 48 minutes of it is just the most boring action scenes you've ever seen.
I was surprised, actually, because this movie starts with the producer, director, and, well, just two of them, but the lead actor of this movie.
Yes.
And they're telling the audience that they made this, film during their early college years. It's basically a student film, and I was looking forward to the worst. And I thought the beginning action scenes were actually kind of competent for, like, a student film.
It's weird that is included. Like, it's weird that there's a thing at the start of the movie where Dr. Chad Burns and Aaron Burns, the people who made this movie and who made Behind the Mask or Beyond the Mask, that they just come out and like temper your expectations. Like, that's what they're there for, to be like, hey, this isn't a very good movie. We tried our best, but like, and we had a lot of fun doing it, but just a heads up, it's really cheap. It's a bad movie. So, but thanks for buying the DVD. Also check out the special features. That's also a weird thing, is that they plug the special features in this streaming version of it. So it's clear they just took like the DVD re-release of it and went, yeah, put it in there. Should we edit out the part that doesn't relate to anything? Nah, I'll keep it in. It's fine. Shut up.
Should we take out all the scenes that give you context to the story and everything? Nah, let's just dub it over with exposition from a voiceover actress.
Who is probably like the mother of the Burns family, because literally every single person in this movie with any kind of role other than like the love interest, kind of, is a member of the Burns clan. Like, this is a family film, and I mean made by a family. It's a beautiful thing to see them all together.
And multiple families. If you watch the credits of this thing, there are probably like 10 large Christian families that really had their hands in this pie.
Oh yeah, most of them Burns. Some of them not, but most of them Burns. The Burns, I did a little bit of research on them because I got curious. And in the 5 minutes I spent researching the Burns family, I missed so much of this movie. Like, there is a chunk in the middle that moves at such a breakneck pace that I looked away for a minute to research Dr. Chad Burns. And when I looked back, the entire movie had changed, and I did not know what I missed. It's like, wait, what? This person's dead, and now this person's in charge, and this person's... What the hell happened in that time? But anyway.
I was really hoping that you watched this part, because I, too, missed this. I got up, and I got myself a slice of toast, and I won't miss too much. You know, I have the audio going. I can listen to what's going on. And I get back, and it's just, like, gone ahead in the plot to a point where it's a new movie.
Yeah, so much is, and like there's a character who is now the main villain who I've never seen before, and we're 40 minutes into this 35-minute movie, and I just who the hell, what happened here? So I guess the lesson from today's watch is make sure you watch a movie. They made it, so the least you can do is watch every single frame of it and listen to every single sound of it.
But if you do miss anything, don't go back and watch it. That's dumb.
That's not how they intended you to watch it, to jump back. No, you watch it in order. You don't jump back, you watch the whole thing.
You did not like the intro fight scene that lasts for what, 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
25 minutes?
Literally 20 minutes. Yeah. The first thing I didn't like is that this this opening chat with Dr. Chad and his cousin Aaron does not explain why they cut 40 minutes out of this movie. Like, doesn't go into that at all. It's just them being like, hey, please be gentle. We know this movie sucks, but you've already paid us your money, so thank you for the money, but also we totally hosed you. This is a bad movie. Enjoy, I guess. Praise God.
They couldn't even say anything positive about the movie. All they can say is that they enjoyed looking back at the time of making it.
Yeah.
That's all they can say.
Watching this movie to them is a reminder of the fun they had making the movie. And that's the best thing they could say about it. But that doesn't help me because I didn't make this movie and I don't have any memories attached to that.
Yeah, all you're doing is twiddling your thumbs and not getting sucked into the experience at all. It's like eating bland ice cream, I would assume.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right?
I do love that they say that like they feel like their family was called to like make things, to like make movies, to spread the word of God. And I love that they're like, yeah, God called us to make this. And then watching it, I went, oh, he called you to make this bad movie that everyone universally hates. Like, I guess mission accomplished. If that was your mission, you did great.
Well, God calls us to do a lot of things, and sometimes it just, like, doesn't make sense whatsoever. But failures can lead to successes, and this was a huge failure.
Yeah, and it led to the huge success of Beyond or Behind the Mask.
Yeah.
A movie
at least we got Beyond the Mask out of this.
Mm-hmm. A movie that was released theatrically for one day in like a handful of cinemas, so...
I also feel like there are touches of, like, I don't know, good CGI. Not good CGI, but
wrong.
like...
CGI, certainly.
I feel like if me, my friends and my family and community tried to make a movie when I was 19, it wouldn't look half as good as this, and it wouldn't be as good as this.
But the difference is that all you need to do to make a movie look like this is get a decent camera. Like, that's all you have to do is get a decent camera, learn a little bit about color correction and how to, like, tweak settings once you start editing it, and then you can make a movie look as professional as this one does, certainly. So it's not like they pulled off some impossible feat here. They just bought a good camera. That's all they did.
Their church bought them a good camera for sure. Mm-hmm. They had some good lighting. I think their shots were okay. Their audio obviously was garbage.
Yes. You know what? I have some praise for this movie. Genuine praise. The sets were awesome. Like, so much so that I went, well, they had to have filmed at like a Renaissance fair or something like that. Like how put together everything is and how detailed all the like villages and castles, like all those sets, they all look pretty good. I got to give it up to God and then give it up to the Burns brothers for this one. That's where the compliments end.
What I really liked about the first couple of scenes is that like they must have put in some real work to create that first village and that first war scene, all the set pieces, all the people, all the gear. That would take a lot of work. And then the main city with all the brick stuff, they shot it in a good place that fit the film. But then the rest of the film is filled in like a forest gutter.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the sets and costumes are good until you meet the king and he's just wearing like bat catcher gear that has leather strapped over it. But it literally is just like a bat catcher's like chest piece and shoulder pads. And you can see it underneath the leather. Like, just not, things kind of gets a little loose near the end.
Played by Father Burns, I believe, the elder of the family.
The second I saw him, I went, that has to be the patriarch of the Burns clan, because he's A, very handsome, and B, just commands authority and respect. A little bit more about the Burns family. They are a huge clan of homeschoolers. Their whole thing is they just homeschool their kids. So all their kids are weird. The only friends their kids have are cousins and family who are also homeschooled. And every Christmas, the family would huge clan of family would all get together and they would work on like a project together. That would be their like thing that they do at Christmas time. And this movie spun out of like that creative process, essentially. Like, the reason they made this movie is because they'd already made a bunch of stuff together just for their own personal use. And they went, hey, we can do that. We can make a movie.
Good for them. Because all my family did was get drunk and watch curling, which is great. And the food was good. The mashed potatoes, oh my word. But these guys obviously had terrible mashed potatoes, but created good projects.
Well, they spent less time focusing on the mashed potatoes and more time on perfecting the craft of buying a good camera.
But the Burns family did do the craft services, so maybe they did food good too.
Maybe they did, or maybe it's just bad and they're just used to eating it, and they're like, well, this is what Dad makes, so I guess this is what we eat.
They picked up Taco Bell and made bad mashed potatoes.
Oh, that sounds good. They went to a KFC Taco Bell mixture and they bought Taco Bell for the main dish and KFC potatoes for the side dish. And that's just water and dried potato that they mixed together.
I want a Taco Bell. I hate to get out of this podcast and I hate to interrupt our flow, but man, do I just want a Taco Bell.
Well, we don't have them. So, sorry, Haiti doesn't have them.
I want Haiti to have them.
The other thing I loved about this movie is that the main character, aka Artos, aka the Pendragon, just has like hockey hair the whole movie. Like, just has like douchey bros hockey hair, and I love it. I just think that's a nice little 2007 presumably. Yep, that fits the time for sure.
Honestly, I think it looks better on him than his buzz cut that he has now. He looks like such a small dweeb with his buzz cut. Get some hockey hair. Get that mane flowing. He looks like such a prince among men.
Beautiful curly mane. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I ever went back to men, he would be the man I would let squinch my cushy spine.
Interesting. Well, hey, now we know. Put it on the list. Someone call up Aaron Burns. We've got cushy spine for him.
Well, I think that's going to be the title of my autobiography, is My Cushy Spine, The Legacy.
Beautiful. The Legacy. The Chronicles. The Cushy Spine Chronicles.
The Cushy Spine Chronicles. See, this is why you need to work things. You can't always get it on the first go. You need somebody to have your back, and you need to work things.
Sometimes you do, though. Sometimes you need a punch up. It's whatever you need, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, the sunrise reminds us that God's mercies are renewed, all right?
That's what I took away from this whole movie. There's a lot of God talk, a lot of whip barbarians or don't whip them. I don't know. But
I mean, if you're a barbarian, whip. If you're not a barbarian, don't whip.
Exactly. And we're not talking about Cool Whip.
No. No, we are not. This movie is super violent. People just getting killed, getting shot with arrows constantly and getting stabbed and killed. And see, I was shocked to see that because I figured that that's what was going to be edited out of the movie is like all the violence. Like they'd show fight scenes, but they'd be like quick montages of just like swords clanging. But no, they edited out the story and kept all the fight scenes that without a story around them are just fight scenes for no reason. I loved it.
There is an explicit warning at the beginning, dripping with blood and a lot of ding, ding, dings, like swords coming across the screen. But I really wasn't ready for all the battling and violence and the bomb throwing and
yeah, bombs filled with from the looks of it.
Yeah, I love how they expressly show the that you gotta show the
Oh, if you're gonna have a barrel full of you gotta show it leaking into the river. You gotta show it. It looks exactly like like watching it, I went, oh, the barrel. Oh no, somebody spilled the barrel of Oh no. What will Caden do?
They're going to blow up a barrel of That I guess that'll explode.
Do they think that's going to get the woman pregnant if they blow up a barrel of next to her, and that's their plan?
Maybe it was meant to deter young males from masturbating.
Right. If you keep tugging your sack like that, well, then one day the Saxons are going to be at your door and they're going to kill your dad and take you into custody.
Yeah, and it's explosive, so you don't want to all over your brand new socks and then have them explode in your room.
Oh my God, no way. How embarrassing. You'd feel shame.
Not my
No, my Dad, that's my barrel.
The killed my father.
Of course, yeah. Well, he took a big swig of it before he's drinking from the barrel and his son is running across the battlefield in slow motion going, "No, Dad, that's my But too late, and he pulls the barrel down and he smiles and licks his lips in slow motion, and then, and the son runs up and goes, "Dad, you're not going to have time to turn that into dumps. You're going to die, Dad."
Yeah, because the kids don't know. And what they don't know won't hurt them, unless it's
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's learning about Jesus Christ's love and sacrifice, in which case they'll go to hell.
I wasn't too shocked with the sword fighting and the killing and the axes in the back.
Mm-hmm.
What I was shocked about in the violence was the whipping. The whipping was very real.
Oh, but whipping is like the Bible's favorite. They love a good whipping. Oh, it's so godly to whip someone. Oh my God. Just imagine it. Oh.
Do you think when they showed this movie at their big stadium church on the big screens, people were just hooting and hollering at the whipping?
Oh, yeah. The whole crowd was just like going whip, 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 whip. Like they were loving it. In fact, when the movie was done, the biggest note that they got, the feedback was like, more whipping, please. Can we watch the whipping scenes again? We love that stuff.
More whipping. Some old lady in the background said nay, nay at the exact right time, and everybody had a big, big laugh.
Oh, yeah. And then she was whipped for speaking during the movie. People loved it.
And then they ate bad mashed potatoes at the end.
Oh, yeah. And they drank that like orange juice that you would get at church, whatever that. It was like peach or something. It was terrible.
I love that drink. I could slurp on that watered down peach drink all day.
There's a donut shop near my house that sells that peach drink like as a fountain drink, and I got it on a whim one day, not knowing that that's what it was, and I sipped it, and like my pupils dilated. And I just rushed back to the church that I went to and was like, "Oh, I remember Father Tony. Thank you for the juice."
That's one of my wife's favorite things is to go to that place and get a beautiful chicken salad sandwich and a peach juice. It does have a little bit more sugar than you would get at church. Yeah. But it really takes you back to that powdered drink.
I mean, it's the version I would have liked to be drinking back then. Like, in drinking the church version, I wish that I was drinking the future version that I would eventually be drinking, because it's the proper amount of sweetness to juice ratio.
The discount theater also has that peach drink.
Oh, really?
And it's really lovely to mix it with some 7-Up. Get a little bubbles in there, a little bit more sugar.
That sounds great. Well, when I go see Marry Me next week, I'll have to pick up a peach drink.
Marry me.
Oh, marry me? Marry me. Can't wait. Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, get out of here. That's a dream pairing.
I don't know why, but I was still waiting for a big name to pop up in this movie. I thought we were going to see like a J-Lo or Owen Wilson type person near the end of this film.
Yeah, that's fair. The patriarch, King Ambrosius is his name. That is his name.
Yeah, that is his name, and it's very funny to me.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I thought that was his daughter for like the longest part of the film. I thought they were referring to Ambrosia or Ambrosius as the daughter of the king.
Oh, no, sir, no. That's the king, baby.
Although it wasn't my favorite name of this movie, I think my favorite name, just for its simplicity and nailing the character, was Brotus. You gotta have a Brotus in a film.
Brotus?
Yeah, he was the bro-y character. The doofus man guy that's just like lapping up Artas's urn, as to say it very crudely.
I don't remember who that is. I don't remember that character you're describing at all.
He's like his lackey. It's not the guy.
He has a
the
lackey?
guy that ish. I mean, he's only in like a couple of scenes for like 3 seconds, and I hope he died. I didn't pay attention enough at the end of this movie to see if he actually died or not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Brotus.
Fair enough. I was convinced that King Ambrosius was Michael Paré when I first saw him. I was very excited. I thought, Michael Paré is in this movie? That's a get for a Christian movie. Michael Paré, Frank D'Angelo alum, Michael Paré? It's not. It's just a handsome older man who looks like Michael Paré. So, easy mistake to make.
For a dumb beatnik like myself, whomst is Michael Paré?
Oh, Michael Paré, you might remember as the young, handsome star of Streets of Fire from back in the day. And now he was all poised to be the next big thing. And instead, he just makes B and C and D level movies, mostly C and D level movies that are just terrible, low budget garbage. He is best buddies with my love Frank D'Angelo, and he's also in all of Frank D'Angelo's movies. And also he's like a real jackass from the sounds of it. He's a real hardcore. He's a real Kevin Sorbo, you know? I bet those two would get along thick as thieves.
Well, I would rather be a jackass in California than rich wise man in New York shitty.
Yeah. Oh, got him. Roasted him. Get out of here, New York City. Although we appreciate all our listeners there. We love you so much. Put us on in the park and let the crazies listen.
Well, please put us up when we travel to New York. We want to sleep on your couches. We want to do a live feed from your couches. Mm-hmm. We know your rent is more than ours. You don't have to tell us.
Stop emailing us to tell us how much your rent is. We can't help you. We're saving our money to get a Heller Method course. Man, here's the beautiful thing about the online Heller Method. We only have to pay for one class of it, and then you just come over to my house, and we just watch it the camera turns on, and there's two of us there. What's Brad Heller going to do? Nothing. We got him at that point.
How much is there's an online version of this course? Because I want to go down to California.
Well, I want to go to California too, but I mean, we could also just take the online version and then only pay for it once and not have to pay for the trip to California, and then you could just come over to my house and we just watch it on the same screen.
What is the dollar amount?
I have no idea. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
Because if it's under like $1,000, I'm in. I will just bankroll this as quick as possible.
All right, well, if you're bankrolling it, let's see. The Heller Method. Let me just look this up real quick. Everyone, enjoy this moment here. Just, while we look this up. The Secret Rose Theater.
So if you're at home right now, take a moment to yourself, put your hands together, and think about the warmest, sunniest day that you've ever experienced. And just lap in the joy of knowing that God created this for you.
Mm-hmm. I can't find how much it is. Doesn't say on their website. Doesn't say. It just says how to sign up for it. So you probably have to express interest, and then they hit you with the cost, and you go, "Oh, God, I'm not interested anymore. I'm sorry, Brad, I'm not interested."
Has that ever worked on anybody where you don't know the cost and then you ask them the cost and they say like some exorbitant amount of money and you're like, yeah, I'm still interested?
Well, I mean, it works for my wife's business. I'll tell you that much. It works very well for my wife's business.
Yeah,
but
we
other
definitely
than that,
need to cut that.
Yeah, we'll cut all this. We'll cut this whole episode, yeah. But what we're not going to cut is the new beautiful prayer that we learn, which is, "Oh Lord, teach our hands to make war." Which just beautiful prayer. God, straight to God's ears. Even though he didn't say amen at the end, just went straight to God's ears. And he's like, you know what? I love killing. I love war. I told you not to do it, but I love it. So I'll teach your hands to make war. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it seems to me that people of the Christian faith say they're very nice, but like a lot of death and destruction and terrible things. Because it's God's plan.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anything can be justified by God's plan. That's the beauty of God's plan. God not only has a plan for your days, but also for your life. Hi, kitty. Oh, there's a kitty.
There is a kitty. God brought me this kitty, and I love the ever bejesus out of this thing.
Oh, Lord, you've given me a cat.
Truly has.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank the Lord every day.
As you should.
And
what's your cat's name?
Zed. Yeah.
Well, Zed's very handsome or pretty. I don't. You didn't show me their back end, so I couldn't tell you what kind of jennies they got.
Oh, do you want to see?
Sure. I'm gonna assume your cat's gender, and I hope that's okay. A little girl cat. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. That's really good for the listeners.
The listeners don't get to see a cat's vagina, but I just did, so I can tell you confidently that that's a girl cat.
It's pronounced vagina.
I remember a mutual friend of ours. I mean, maybe not so much your friend, but a friend of like that. Whatever. We all know this person. He got a couple of cats, and he had one cat, and he was telling me, "Oh, this girl cat, she's a little girl, blah blah blah." And I'm like, that cat has like fat nuts. Like, that's not a female cat, man. That's a male cat. He's like, "How can you tell?" I'm like, "'Cause of the fat nuts on it. What are you talking about?"
What, did they think it was just glandular, like a piece of
I'm convinced they never looked. I'm convinced they never looked. They didn't bother checking. It was a stray cat that they took into their home, and they're just like, "Yep, it's a beautiful girl." Okay, sure. Why not?
Because of the facial features.
Yeah, because of all the eye makeup that she put on.
Make up your cats, everybody.
They love it. They love, much like, I mean, I will say, people drawing eyebrows on their dogs is great. That I can get on board with. That's very funny. Because no harm done, and now your dog is very more expressive. But makeup on your cats, I mean, as long as you give them a nice, beautiful, smoky cat eye, you're good to go.
Yeah, smoky cat eye. That's where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. It comes from a cat's eye.
And the legend of the Pendragon grows.
As does his ranks, you know. People love the Pendragon. They volunteer for his army. Also, what's the Pendragon? Like, was there a line at the start where his dad was called the Pendragon, and then keeps going like, "Oh, I'm son of the Pendragon"?
His father is the Pendragon. The King of Britain knows of the Pendragon, and they fought in other wars and battles previously. But his father comes to his demise at the first battle. Very selfish death, I would have to say, by the Pendragon.
Well, so wait a minute. Does he say in the start, like, I know the King Ambrosius says that he knows who the Pendragon is, but at the start, in the first 20 minutes, is it ever mentioned that he is the Pendragon? I don't remember that being said at all until Ambrosius says it 30 minutes into this hour and 20-minute movie.
Yeah, I believe the Barbarian calls him the Pendragon. A bunch of other people call him the Pendragon. Right, he calls himself the Pendragon.
Damn.
Like it's written on his chest.
Oh, wow. See, that's a bad idea when you go into battle, though, because everyone knows who the Pendragon is, and they're going to be gunning for the Pendragon. But if you stop running your mouth about it, maybe you would have survived the battle.
Well, there's a fine balance between striking fear in your enemy's soul by the knowledge that you're facing the Pendragon because he's good at writing.
Uh-huh.
But also you want to be alive for your family. It's a tough balance.
For sure it is, absolutely. You know, it's especially tough when after your whole village gets destroyed and your life is completely annihilated and you run away from the barbarians and you're rescued by some jabroni and he goes, you know, this is all part of God's plan. And you go, well, was your life destroyed by Saxons? Oh, no, I've had a great life. But let me tell you all about how God's plan for your life, buddy. How's that sound? I thought that guy was really cool.
Yeah, and he pops in a couple of times, but it's not really explained who he is, or maybe we just didn't watch.
No, it is not explained who he is. It's not. Yeah. He's and he only pops in once, I think. I only remember him from that one scene.
He comes in a little bit later too, but it's not. It's again another scene where he just like pops in.
And they must have cut 30 minutes from that scene. This movie could use. I hate to say it, but this movie could use another edit. Edit it down to like 45 minutes, put it out as an hour-long TV special. Done.
Yeah. An episode of Murder, She Wrote, and then you're done.
It looked like an episode of Young Hercules, and that's a compliment.
Yeah. I got a lot of Hercules vibes from this, but I think that was just a budget thing and it happening in the woods thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. And in like, you know, rundown ramshackle towns.
Wouldn't it suck to be living in that time and you're just like a kid or a maiden or something, and these barbarians are coming, and you're just like, well, I guess they're just going to rape and pillage our town.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, the girl at the start is like, this is the day our childhood ended, and it's like, yeah. And you're like 7, 6? Like, wow, you didn't have a shot at all.
No shot at all. At least the guys get to go out and fight and have their glory and everything. Yep. But as like, just like a stupid villager, maybe you're like a comedian that's going from village to village. You're just gonna get raped and murdered.
Hey, that's just how it goes sometimes, you know.
Yeah, that's what God gives.
That's God's plan, though. That's the great thing about God's plan, is that it's ever changing. Back in the old days, it was, I want everyone to just suffer and die horribly, and now it's like, I want you to suffer for a lot longer and sometimes die horribly, but maybe you won't die as horribly, but you're certainly going to suffer a lot longer. How's that sound?
It makes it apparent that religion and these rules were created so that rich people could go upon their wars and kill and murder a bunch of people. And then the people are just like, yeah, well, I guess it's God's plan.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Yeah, just go with it. My favorite Alec Baldwin movie.
It's complicated.
Yeah, you're right. It's not called Just Go With It. There's got to be a movie called Just Go With It, though. I'm going to look that up.
Alec Baldwin, that's probably the sequel to It's Complicated, is Just Go With It.
Yeah.
Or a prequel.
You know what? Just go with it, man. Oh, no. There is a movie called Just Go With It. It stars Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, so I was way off the mark.
Really? It's called Just Go With It.
Just go with it. Whatever, man. Just let it happen is what it's called.
That doesn't sound right.
No. About halfway through my notes, I have this note. Damn, I shouldn't have looked away. The king is dead and his daughter is exiled, and who's this guy who orchestrated it? I missed so much in 5 minutes somehow.
Well, there was definitely like 30 more minutes of this movie right at the middle that they just decided to take out and have a woman explain what happened. But that happens within like 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, I was so lost. and even at the end when like everything works out and people are getting killed and the right people are getting killed, I should say.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't care. I don't know who these people are and I don't care because like the movie didn't take enough time to show us why we should care. When we watched Samson, we got lots of scenes of Billy Zane and the guy from Twilight just chatting, we're getting to know the villains. We understand their motivations a little bit more. This one was just like, Caden's just a dick, huh? Okay, well, I guess that's who Caden is. Caden. Well,
Caden, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But you're probably sitting there as the listener, just like your hands clenched and mad at us for not paying 100% attention to this movie. And all I have to say to that is shut up.
Shut up. You watch it. You buy the DVD and watch it and wonder where that extra 40 minutes went. You watch it and figure it out.
Well, I want the extended cut out of this movie.
Me too.
I want to see what happens in the middle of this film, and I want to see that beautiful princess get hers.
Yeah, I want to see the Snyder cut of Pendragon's Sword of His Father. I want Zack Snyder to come and recut this whole movie, please.
He'd probably do it. He's got enough money.
Yeah, he's got time. What does he care?
Yeah.
What's he doing now? Working on some Army of the Dead crap? I don't know. That movie sucked, so I don't want to see any more of that universe. I want to see more of the Pendragon universe.
Yeah, he's probably sitting on a beach somewhere in Mexico, just laughing at all the people that are a different color than him.
Well, that's making some assumptions about Zack Snyder, but...
Yeah, a lot of assumptions. I don't know this person whatsoever. I've never seen any of his movies, but I think he's a racist.
Well, I'd tell you this. He definitely loves the beach.
Yeah, he definitely loves it. Yeah. So say we all.
Oh, God's plan, you know? Yeah. Pendragon, there's a battle. The Pendragon makes a deal with Caden and then, is immediately betrayed and is, shocked that he's been betrayed by this guy who killed the king. It's you thought you could just trust this guy and he was going to honor his word that he was going to send an army to help you? I guess he didn't. Turns out he's not a man of his word, just like we thought.
Well, he kills the king, and then he brokers a peace just to lure the Pendragon in, and then he double crosses him, but the Pendragon wins. He comes out of the fire.
Is he just jealous of the Pendragon?
I think he's pretty jelly. At the beginning of the movie, he's like this hard a-hole, but he's a good fighter for the king. And then he just turns evil. Throughout the movie, I guess.
And you say at the start of this movie, but you're talking 40 minutes into this movie when the king is introduced and that stuff. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I just want to make sure I didn't miss him at the start.
After 30 minutes of fighting and war, I honestly thought that the movie might just be that intro battle and it would just last for an hour and 20 minutes.
And the whole movie is just the siege of Pendragon's village. Not a bad idea.
Exactly.
Would kind of be an interesting idea for a movie, kind of like Assault on Precinct 13 or whatever the hell that movie's called.
The Last Samurai. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming that's what happens in The Last Samurai.
Love The Last Samurai. Legitimately love that movie. I think it's great. Yeah, well, I'm a sucker for samurai fiction. I like that stuff, so... This movie, wrong part of the world for me. A little further south, you know what I'm saying? I think this movie should have gone downtown, you know?
Southeast.
Hey, isn't it weird that it's called going downtown? That's a weird way to phrase what you're doing to somebody, right?
I say it every time though.
Yeah. While your wife is making dinner, you go, "Would you like me to go downtown?"
I don't even know why I'm saying it anymore. It's just a part of the script that happens when we, do whoopee.
Right, the courtship dance,
I'm going downtown, and I say it very blasé.
Yeah, as if you're just running down to the corner store. I'm going downtown. I'll be back in 10 minutes. She goes, better take you more than that. And you go, what?
Don't forget the nuts. Which is a weird thing for her to say.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Or him.
Or him. Yeah, whatever. Either way, your mouth is tired by the end of it.
Boy, howdy. I'm glad I don't have a job that wears out my mouth, because then I'd come home and I'd have nothing for my wife.
Yeah, you'd have the underside of your tongue is just raw from rubbing your teeth. And you're just is this worth it? Is this even worth it?
Yeah. Like priests or stand-up comedians or radio disc jockeys, you're not going to get a lot of oral pleasure out of those guys.
No, certainly not. Are you kidding? They're the most selfish lovers imaginable. They don't have the stamina. And you'd think they would after being hosting Rick D's in their weekly top 40 for 40 years. You'd think he'd have the stamina to go downtown, but he's just old and tired at this point. He just doesn't have it.
Yeah, well, you don't want to do an episode of Rick D's in your wife's pussy.
You don't want to do There's just an episode of Rick D's where he just flubs a bunch of names. He's slurring his words, and everyone's like, "Are you drunk, Rick?" And he's like, "Nah, I just was going downtown on my wife. I'm tired. My mouth is tired. Can't move my tongue the way I'd like to."
Yeah. He's very apologetic, but very slurry because his mouth is so tired.
Yeah, his tongue is exhausted. The tongue is a muscle. Duty. I gotta go downtown. When I'm done this, I gotta go downtown. I know they have it in me.
And this does not relate to the movie, but I think
Sure
it was
does.
a fun, side note.
Of course, yeah. Are you telling me that Pendragon's not going to go downtown on the princess? Ridiculous.
I thought that she was a Burns because they don't show enough affection to one another like they should. Like they should be all over each other's bodies.
Yeah, he gives her an affectionate hug at one point.
Yeah.
And that's as close as it got. Like as soon as she was introduced into the movie and like it was clear that she was going to be a love interest, I looked her up to be like, is she his cousin or sister? And then unless she got married and changed her last name, it looks like she's not. So I think they managed to avoid that. But there is also a chance that she did get married and change her last name, and she might be related to Aaron Burns. I guess we'll see.
We'll definitely see. We gotta find that out for sure.
Yeah.
It's so weird though. These Christian films shy away from sexuality so much to the point where they don't even kiss, but they'll have just this barbarian whipping a guy for 30 seconds.
But that's okay. Children need to see the horrors of the world. They shouldn't see the good things in the world. It should just be the bad things. So they turn to God and they're scared of the world and God gives them comfort. That's what it's all about.
So, I don't know. What did you think of this movie?
Well, it was better than A Murder of Innocence, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it was a reprieve for sure. I thought the characterization of the hero and the love interest and the king was real clear. The action was 100%.
Yeah, it was dialed up to 100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
We didn't talk about the voice acting at all.
Yeah, because who cares? Like,
Okay.
I mean, I guess the thing is so the at the start when the Pendragon's village is destroyed and his dad's killed, he has a younger sister that he can't find after he gets put into slavery, and he's like, I can't find my sister, and he's spending the whole movie is my sister alive? Is she okay? But we as the audience know she's alive because she's narrating the movie as an old woman the whole time. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't care about the sister because I know she makes it through because I'm hearing her voice this entire movie telling me what's going on.
The movie, the story of the Pendragon occurs over a period of time.
It's a period piece.
It seems to be years.
Does it? I have no idea. I mean, it takes time to go to a battle, I guess.
Oh, well, back in the day, these things happened over years, not days.
Yeah, it was a crusade.
I assume that he grows a goatee. They're trying to say that this happens over a long period of time. So I'm expecting a teenage sister at the end of the movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but no, we just get the same
girl.
Little girl.
Mm-hmm. Wearing the same outfit, looking exactly the same, but years have gone by, and he's just like, oh, "You're exactly as I remember you." So the Pendragon must die in that fire, and then just the end of the movie is just the last bursts of electricity in his brain before his body is incinerated.
Yeah, and the voiceover we're hearing of the sister throughout the whole movie is an angel, a ghost.
Yeah, it's the sound of fire crackling in his ears, and he's misinterpreting it as a beautiful woman's voice.
Well, I'm glad we figured that out. That makes a lot of sense.
It really recontextualizes the whole movie and makes me love it now.
I already love it, and I can't wait to see more out of the Burns clan.
Ooh, you won't. There won't be any more. That's it. Probably.
No. Beyond the Mask 2 coming out next summer.
I read an article about the whole family and about this and about Chad and about the movie making process, and he's like, we're just getting started. I can't wait to show you guys what we got coming out next. And I looked and it's like, you haven't done anything in 7 years. I have my doubts that there's going to be more from you, but maybe there will be. Who knows? I guess there was 7 years between Pendragon and Beyond the Mask, so we're kind of right in line for the next Burns Brothers production. Maybe.
And Dr. Chad worked on a Kendrick film.
Yeah, the Kendrick brothers did help, they helped with Beyond the Mask or Behind the Mask or Beyond whatever. They were
Behind the Mask.
Yeah, they were they counseled and they were supervisors on that movie. So he has a connection to real Hollywood royalty, which is nice.
Yeah. I think they're molding them to be the next Kendrick brothers. I think they're taking them under their wing, and we're going to see a plethora of Beyond the Masks in the near future. Probably 10 years, but near future.
Instead of taking them under their wing, more like taking them under their wang, you know? Hey, here's a credit at the end I was confused by. Character sponsors.
Yes, I have that note. I have no idea what that is.
I have no idea what that is either. Some of the, like, they list a bunch of the characters, and then there's a colon, and then a business afterwards, which sponsored them. But Pendragon was sponsored by Anonymous.
Yeah.
So either the Hacking Collective sponsored him, or I guess just his daddy did or something. Like, it's just, what is a character sponsor, though? I don't understand what that means.
Well, what I thought they meant by character sponsor was the voice actors that they dubbed a lot of this film with. But then I saw business names, and I was very confused. And then I looked up slightly and saw Anonymous, and was even more confused. Why have that? What is happening?
I don't know. And when we eventually have Dr. Chad Burns on the podcast, we will ask him, first of all, we'll quiz him on all Bible verses just to see how legit he is. But then secondly, we'll ask him, what is a character sponsor and how do we get them for our show?
Well, yeah, we need to turn this into our fortune.
Exactly. Right now, we're not making nearly enough money. We can't even afford to take the Heller method. So until we do,
and we want to.
We want to so bad. But until then, I love you.
I love you.
We love you. The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S, it's Pure Boys. Hold up, it's Pure Boys.
Yeah, I got two throats.
The P, the U,
my
the
phone
R,
didn't
the E,
count.
the B, the O, the Y, the
What are you
S,
gonna
it's
do?
Pure Boys.
UPS.
Hold up, it's Pure Boys.
Say what?